You. All right. More of the continuing adventures of the Sticks and Stones Company. Year 3. And oh my goodness. 2, 3, 4, 6 of the villagers are now pregnant. So this chapter is called Growth. Not only are we growing, the ladies are starting to grow. Good thing about being in slow seasons, well, one, it's a yawner. I wouldn't say that's a good thing. It has been a real trip playing seasons at long duration to try to get the villagers all maxed up in skill before they had babies, and it's worked. So they've all, if we actually go back and look, if we look at the some of the levels here, like this group of people right here, all 10-10s, 10-10-3, Drogmira, Urbort, 10-10-2, 10-10-6, 2-1-3, Gestawa, 10-10-5. Harold's kind of a monster here, 10-10-2, 10-3-4. So I've had to create a lot of other buildings, and do set up farming and orchards and all that stuff for them to do other things, kitchens and smiths, other things for them to work at. I've just added fishing in not too long ago. Who else is a monster in here? There's a couple of monsters in here. Ulrika, 10-10-2, 10-3-2. Unarad, 10-10-2, 10-2-10. Unarad's a monster. Wilburga, 10-10-1, 10-2-10. Yeah. So good thing. Because, between the female getting pregnant with 10-10-6-3-1-1 skills and, so let's see who she's married to. She's married to Nybor, and Nybor is 10-10-3, 10-1-6. So this is my first time playing, and they say that kind of like in what they had intended with The Sims, that skills will be passed on to the children. So if they have really high skills, then the children will do better off. They'll be, they'll advance. Who knows? I don't know yet. They say that the kids will all be better off. I've been putting off having a kid because I decided to hook up with Lorelei here, and her gaining levels is like pulling teeth. She has been one of the slowest levelers ever. She is reluctant to do anything. She gets mad about doing anything. But I picked her because we were with same age. They're like, you should pick somebody that's about the same age, better chance of having a kid, And so I've been holding off, saying, hey, let's have a kid, and trying to get her leveled up, trying to get her past level 6 at hunting. She just doesn't want to do it. Even though she was really unhappy being running the merchant stall for a minute, this is the thing that I think makes her the happiest. She immediately went from 1 to 10. Next I looked, she was at 10. So I immediately put her into the kitchen over here, and she's been slowly gaining, but she's just so slow. Not like some of these others that we've looked at here. They've just skyrocketing. And since I was cross-training all those, I brought in a whole other group. So I know these screens are kind of boring, but look over here now. There is, if you look out there, 5 new houses. One's kind of turned sideways, so it looks like 4, but there's 5 over there. And so went around and got a whole bunch of new couples to put in there. Every one of those 2 people are hooked up. So eventually they'll start having kids too. But while everybody else cross-training, I still needed to keep the Sticks and Stones Company working. So there's my new smith huts. I put 3 smith huts up. Though I put some more wood sheds over there. I finally just got a stable. I was running around on the donkey, and somebody in the forum said, oh, just stick with the donkey. The donkey is as fast as a horse. No, it's not. I liked the donkey. I think he's still around. I did choose to sell him and tore down the donkey barn, but he's sticking around. He hasn't. They said he might vanish with the start of next season. So need to clean up your poo, horse. But no. Don't let anybody tell you that the donkey is just as fast as the horse. No. There's the donkey. That is not the case. So don't you believe it. And when you can get a stable, get a stable. And so let's look what's going on. I built some kitchens over here. I upgraded the food hut to a level 3 because it's constantly having to pull food out. Oh, I'm going to tell you about some problems I had here in a minute. I had to build another resource storage. These are both level 3s too, because just accumulating so much. Not that I can't pull it all out and hold it myself, but I was having to do it too often. You know, with everybody working, they were just filling it up too fast. So I was constantly having to run over here. Not that I still am, constantly running over here and trying to empty it. I just finished emptying it a minute ago. So there's probably not a whole lot for me to pull out. The limestone, they're just really starting to knock out stuff like mad. Every time I turn around, and it's fantastic. Money has not been a problem at all. At all. So sticking to my guns and doing what I did and just concentrating on the sticks and stones for a while. It really paid off. I was able to run back in anytime I wanted in town and just make a buttload of knives or I think you're allowed to say buttload. Sorry. Make a whole bunch of whatever I could. Stone knives, hammers, whatever, shovels, pickaxe. Here's 2 markets. I had an abundance of food there for a while, and I still do, and I'll probably have people finish cross-training over here. But I did run into some problems. Again, I'll tell you about that in a minute. So what I get for falling asleep. But not really that into farming, but you know, again, I want to cross train everybody, and eventually I want some flax. I want more lighting, and you know, I want the thread. And if I want to build any more market stuff, I'm gonna need the linen fabric and yada yada yada. So getting into creating some some fields. Now look across over there. Decided to move the majority of my orchard, well, pretty much all of it. There's some stuff over here on the side. I thought I'd do some small stuff, and then I'm like, go back here to the 2 fishing huts now. Now all of this, here comes this lovely flax that I want. Well, this is the wheat. Not bad. So eventually, yeah, flour, cabbage. These guys, onions. What is this? Carrots. So a lot of farming going on over here, so that they keep gaining skill in this too. And they, as far as I can tell, unless I'm missing something, you can designate areas for orchards, and they'll come in and they'll do all the hoe work on and set up the plots, but they don't seem to plant the seedlings. There's no way to tell them what you want to plant at the moment. So they'll set it all up, but then you got to come in and put every one of these into the ground yourself. So one of the first couple of times I tried playing through, I would immediately go spend all my money and buy as many seedlings as I could, and I was always out of money. And going this route, just waiting a little bit, you know, have loads and loads of cash. And every now and then, it's not such a big deal in a hurry to me at this point to really concentrate on orchards. But this is all orchards, so just a mix of everything, all the different types of pear, plum, cherry, apple, and then the hops. Because yeah, I eventually want the beer or the mead. They seem to like the mead. Actually, they seem to like the mead a lot. But they don't seem to like berry wine, or they don't even seem to like cherry wine. I just threw whatever alcohol I have out there in their food area in the food storage to just let them have some party time, you know, some downtime or whatever, and have some of it. And they immediately drank the mead, but just would not drink the berry wine or the cherry wine. There was nothing wrong with it. It's just they didn't want it. So they really have they seem to have preferences. Some of the beer that's been sitting in there too, they just eventually they're like, yeah, okay, it's something to drink, whatever. But I don't know that it took forever for them to drink the wine. So I know that I don't really need to concentrate on that. Pardon me, this is a habit. Somebody in the forum said yard work, it never ends. And that is the truth. The developer, I've been on the forums making a couple of posts about when your people are set to extraction hut and they're set to gather sticks and stones. The first thing that they should do in their hunt for sticks and stones is keep the village, anything within the radius of, you know, a couple of meters from a village building. They should pick up the sticks and stones around the building and keep your village clean. If you are even slightly OCD about clutter, sticks and stones in your village being dirty, oh, you're going to go nuts because you're just constantly running around every season picking up sticks and stones. So problems that I've had, they're self-induced. One, because I've set seasons for the long duration setting. Since I've last talked to you, this thing has been pretty much running nonstop. It takes forever. It takes forever to go through a season, and we're getting ready to finally change another season now. But sometimes I just walk away and let it go, you know, or pass out. Just go out and have dinner or do whatever. And just leave it. And, you know, they won't leave. The villagers get mad if something goes wrong, like they don't have food or firewood or whatever. But it will take them to drop to -100, which is cool, before they decide to pick up and leave. I've had enough. I'm leaving. And luckily, I haven't hit -100. But boy, when I came back once or twice, I had not calculated how much like water they would need, or yeah, firewood. They've been real good about firewood. I just really assumed they would need so much. And so let it go for long periods of time and come back and there's an emergency. And there was an emergency on firewood, and there was an emergency on food there for a while. Like I'd run out of knives, something, and I immediately had to switch almost everybody over to be hunters. There's some food that's gonna rot. Out of there, put it over there. I decided not to use the compost bins because they can only hold so much, and it's like with meat. I have so much leftover meat. I used to when I first started, I was saying we're the Sticks and Stones and the Meat Company, because I needed so much meat to keep everybody going. Plus, I was cross-training everybody to be hunters. So having 2,000 or more meat like this, not a problem. And so I would take like 1,000 of it. And I've said earlier, if you're going to get into farming, you're going to need fertilizer. And if you don't have animals for manure, you're going to need rot. So I had built, if you look at the image for the last video about Built for the Future, all the compost bins that I built around the barn here. I had a whole, like 10 of them. But they only hold like 150 meat each. So back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in every one of them. When you could just drop, how much is this here? There's 357. So, if you know where you're dropping the stuff, it's easier to just drop it on the ground and let it rot over season than do the compost bins. Because again, to do 1,000 now, yeah, I'm going to need a silly amount of compost. And they're nice for decoration, but, for this, no, just drop it. What did I drop? I dropped a bag. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to drop. Pick up the bag. Go find that meat. And drop it. Drop it all. So, yeah. Instead of opening and just, then opening and then transferring and then closing and opening and transferring and closing, opening and, just drop it on the ground. But you do what you want, of course. But it's easier that way. So now doing that a couple of times before I got into farming has now saved me the headache of worrying about fertilizer. I've already got some in the resource shed. I'm sitting on 2,193 here. Plus, when I had the donkey, I'm still sitting on some manure. So, but seriously, if you think, oh, I can't wait to get into the farming and I want to do a lot of farming, you're going to need the fertilizer. So, and you're going to need a lot of it. You're going to do big farming. So, if you do start out slow and get everybody built up, sticks and stones and then hunting to feed everybody, transfer them over to hunting, then you'll be loaded on meat for a while. So that is where we are at. So I need to still have an heir, and that will open up more buildings. Right now I'm limited to 60. Now I'm not even close yet. I'm at 49 buildings out of 60. And I have 28 workers. But again, once these ladies pop, they're down for 2 years. They don't work. They take care of their children, which is fine. Not a problem. We got plenty of people here, and I'll probably bring in more. My goal at the end of the day was, how many people can I get working on sticks and stones? Oh, also, I have... instead of using extraction huts, I'm still using extraction huts, but I'm using 2 mines, and I've decided that I don't care that they're close or not, and I don't care how far the villagers have to walk. I'm cruel. But there's a mine right here, and there's a mine up north over here. And I decided to do that because I wanted to trying to cross-train everybody. Creating those smithies, I needed metals. So, and it's been cool. They've been fine about it. They've been enjoying their walks. And they're doing just fine. So, you can have people working all over the place. And so far, again, they don't complain. Just might take them a while to get there and then to get home at night. But everybody seems to get home and by, at the normal time. And either way, if you need to move people, and I guess there's a mine over here I was thinking about trying to find. The horse vendor is in Hornica. If you do want a horse, let me backtrack on that. So this is what our territory looks like now. So not bad. In an earlier playthrough, I had pretty much developed all of this area and got to about the point where I am now, but I struggled with so many different mistakes that I had made. A lot of people, when they first start, they usually build right here, which isn't bad. This area is really nice. This area of the map, the middle, kind of like all of this. This is really good and flat. A lot of the land in here is really, this is where I was done my second playthrough, and I had finally worked up to not city, whatever's right below city, town. I worked up town. I was getting ready to make city, and I'm going to see if I can make city here. So you need 100 and 110 buildings, maybe. You got a long ways to go. And I haven't built some buildings at all. I haven't built an herbalist hut or sewing. I'll get around to that once I start having an abundance of flax. And I'm really into the flax pretty much just for the lighting. I really like lighting. I don't hate being able to not see in the dark. Some nights are really clear and you can see and walk around in the dark. The moon's out. Some nights black as pitch. I'm constantly running into things. Somebody said, watch out how many lights you add, though, because it'll bog down your CPU. Yeah, probably will. This isn't the beefiest of machines, but I can use it for flight simulator, so it's pretty good. And I haven't really experienced any lagging putting up lights. In another playthrough, I was trying to, light all the road around my village, and even then I had lights everywhere, and so far it's pretty good. So just got the horse, like I said, and I'm just kind of in a holding pattern now. I've just collected a bunch of resources, went around and made some tools. Just I don't want to have to worry about it. So pulling all the metal and stuff, sometimes it's easier for me to just run over there and knock out a whole bunch of tools. So making sure that there isn't a deficiency. These guys are pretty good about keeping up with things, but anyway, I was sitting on a couple hundred iron ores, so I've been doing that and just trying to, I basically what this game is managing everything. So in my very first video for this, where I questioned, like, what is this? What is this? Is this a game? Is this a simulator? Is it a hobby? And yes, I mean, it is. It's a game, and it is a kind of a simulator like The Sims. And at this pace, yeah, it's kind of a hobby. I have questioned why I am playing this, because at the moment with this current developer, it's an evolution. It's an evolving title. And I don't know where he's going to go with it. Somebody said he's never going to have combat, but they're adding in armor. Well, the armor's for the bandits, but you don't really need armor for the bandits. I mean, you can fight them. I suppose it will help, because when there's 5 of them, if they catch you unawares, yeah, it's a bad day. But if you can spot them ahead of time, it's so easy to build a castle. I call it a castle. In castling, like in chess. It's so easy to build a little using these little half walls. So if you find some bandits ahead of you and you know where they're at and they're just out of bow shot and earshot, build a little circle of stone around you and then get your bow out and shoot them and draw their attention and have them start coming over to you. They at the moment, the bandits aren't smart enough to hop over the fences. Who knows if that will change? He might want to be devious to us. But right at the moment, they're too stupid. And so it's easy dealing with the bandits that way. If they have archers, just add a couple of palisade walls so that they're blocking whatever archer might be out there. And while the rest of them run up on you, you can just take them out. So I don't know where he's going to go with it. And I still wonder, well, why am I playing this? What is the end goal? There isn't. It's just to do this. Just to create a village and work it all the way up to city, I suppose. And, you know, which makes me kind of lament certain other titles that I was playing for a while, like Medieval Engineer. In a lot of ways, that was so much more interesting than this because the building was amazing. The building and the mining and the farming, everything else is, and the crafting. And then they still had bandits running around there too. And they were sneaky. They were spooky. They will show up in the middle of the night and kill you. You know, I'm busy tunneling away and having fun digging up stuff, and all of a sudden I'm being attacked. So Medieval Engineers had a lot going for it, and I don't know why they stopped, you know. And then I look at things like Manor Lord that are coming up, which are going to provide a similar experience to this, but they're going to have the combat. And then I look at things like Banner Lord, Mountain Blade, which is predominantly combat, but then they're adding in this kind of, with mods, they're adding in this kind of experience where you can, you know, manage your people and do stuff like this. So he's got a lot of competition out there, and I don't know what he's going to do. But I've just mostly been curious, I suppose, about, you know, building up a city. So I'm not quite there yet, and I haven't quite just totally thrown in the towel with this particular title. So it's been enjoyable up to this part. If you like this type of game, I think you're going to really have a good time. If you don't, you're not. I think you're going to be like, why did I bother? Why? I hate myself for playing this title. And don't do that. But really, I don't think you will. That's just being completely honest. I think that if you think, well, this seems kind of cool, I might give it a shot, but you're really not into this kind of experience. That is the saving grace in all these titles I've been talking about, you know, the customization. Use the customization to your advantage so that, you know, you give it a shot and don't freak out. And sometimes you might want to set it to harder or set things differently to, like me with the seasons. What am I, crazy setting seasons out to like 30 days instead of 3 days? Yeah, but like I said, my goal in this playthrough was to see if I could get everybody raised up in levels, including the wifey here, before she's out still. Before everybody started having babies. So at this point, I have to say mission accomplished. I have done that. That'll be interesting. I've been trying to, wherever I find certain vendors, to try to pick up toys. I need to go try to find some more. The smith workers only sell like one. I've only found like one wooden sword. I found a couple of rag dolls, but only one little toy sword so far. So that's going to be my next big quest, is the quest for toys for all these kids that are going to be born. So it'll be interesting to see how any of these ladies, because they all popped at once, and they're not popped. I mean, they're pregnant. Kids haven't come out yet, and it hasn't switched them over to, when they become mothers, it'll change here in their profession. It'll say mother. So they're still gaining experience up to this. They're still working while they're pregnant. So I look forward to that. Sorry I missed streaming last night. There was just yada yada yada. Not a big deal. But I'm all caught up today. So I'm just gonna leave it here, and I'll see you on the next go round. I'm not really I don't know where I'm going yet. So I don't have a direction or a title already worked up for what's next, because I don't know what's next. We shall see. You see how long I make it with this. Anyway, like and subscribe. I'm definitely, like I've been saying it with the other live streams, I'm going to be getting back to Flight Simulator. If you've never seen Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's awesome. If you're into flight simulators at all, you need to have it, really. If you've ever wanted to learn how to fly, you really should. You really should get it. Well, why? It's a simulator and it's not the real world. Look, I got to tell you, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out from it. If learning to fly for real is your goal, Microsoft Flight Simulator will take you so incredibly far. And what I mean by what you put into it, you get out of it. If you are literally hitting the books, watching videos, learning things, watching all the professional flight training videos, and then you try to apply everything as much as you can in the simulator and using other services like VATSIM and you will get an amazing experience. You will get a real life training experience. You'll get real life training experience. It is one of the greatest simulators I've ever seen. If you're not into that, X-Plane 12 is out, and I've been a big X-Plane fan up to this point, but I am so in love with Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's fantastic. So we'll have a lot of fun with that soon. I need to really get back in before I start losing all of my losing it all my knowledge. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I was doing just a short little flight the other day, and I made a couple of mistakes, and I'm like, oi, starting to slip. So I'll be doing that and taking you on flights. If you have any suggestions for flights when we get into that, let me know. I might get back into Mountain Blade Bannerlord and show what that's like, but that's one of those ones too. It takes a long time. It is a grinder. And, you know, like this, you start out as a young person and work your way up, and you're going to eventually conquer the whole world. Kind of like a Rome Total War. I love it, but my Lord, conquering the whole world? Crazy. So that, Manor Lord, waiting for Manor Lords to come out, and I don't know, anything else that comes up. If you have any suggestions for what you're playing or what you find terribly exciting, let me know. Might want to check out what you're doing. Check out a title. I have been sticking with boring titles, really long, epic, boring titles. All right, with that, I will see you on the next live stream. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good afternoon or morning or evening. Yada, 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 yada.